Hey guys, welcome to Red's Projects. This episode, I'm going to be answering the question of what went wrong in my little VG30. As you remember, I dropped a cylinder in this thing. Number one had 60 psi compression, cranking, and the rest had 120 or more, so something went wrong in number one. I'm predicting it's going to be a broken ring or a broken ringland. I've never had this engine apart. I've never pulled a VG30 apart, besides when I took the sump off to put my little oil return on. I've never had one of these motors apart, so this should be interesting. I've got the new motor ready to go on the ute down there, but I thought it'd be interesting to work out what went wrong and how I can learn from it and not do that to that motor, keep that one alive. So I'll set you up on a tripod and I'll start pulling this thing apart. All right, let's get stuck into it. Now I'm mainly going to just work on this bank so I can work out number one, and I'll pull the other head off if I have time. If not, I'll do that off camera so the video doesn't end up being too long. There we go. Yep, it's a bit dark. Now, I was not expecting Allen key head bolts. They're a 10mm Allen key. So I had to go find an old Allen key and give it a little chop. So I got that guy. And then I can just put a nice 10mm socket on it. I have got a nice set of Allen key sockets at work, but they're at work. So I can't really use them. There's one little bolt back here. I'll quickly show you. There, well you can see it, but right here there's another little 10mm 10. Yep. That one. Oh, come on. Come off. Oh, here we go. Board does look a little worse than number one. If you have a look, you can see the marks in it. I'd say it's going to be a ring problem. Actually, it looks, I think I can see a ring from here. It looks like it's, the piston's a bit detonated on this side. Now, I don't know how well you can see it, but the edge of that piston there looks rounded off. All the others look sharp. So that might explain why this one wobbles. But I'll flip it around, get the sump off, and push that piston out and see what went wrong. Alright, I'll quickly whip this off. I have to put this sump onto the other engine anyway, so it's got to come off and get cleaned and feel nice and pretty. Falls off. Oh, there's one more bolt. It's always one more bolt. Oh, now I'm making a mess. There we go. Yep. Just. Piece of alloy bar, solid alloy bar. It's good for stuff like this where you don't really want to damage anything. It's moving. Alright, the moment of truth. Guess what? I was right. Where are we? Crack there, broken ringland. Crack there. Looks like there's a crack here as well. So another couple cracks there. That. Oh, and a broken ring as well. Look at that. So that piece just fell out then. So there's one end of the second ring. There's another end there. Alright, I'll clean it up and I'll lay it out on the bench and show you properly. Alrighty, have a look at that. So when I pulled the oil rings out, more of the ringlands fell out. So just remember, this cylinder was still working. Like at idle, it was a dead miss, but once you got over 2000 RPM and it was spinning hard enough, this cylinder was firing and running and still going good. So this is quite amazing, really. So they're the pieces of my top ringland, or middle, or second ringland, I guess. These two between the second ring and the oil ring, they fell out when the oil ring came out. So top ring is still intact. It's changed colour, so it was getting pretty hot. Second ring broke. Kablamo. Oil rings fine. So one thing I'm excited about, these are a full floater, so I can take the circlip out, push the pin out, and I can just put another piston on this rod. It's good as long as the bore's in good shape. I can rebuild it pretty quickly and pretty cheaply. Alright, and another thing, if you look around here, this edge is nice and sharp. Around where it blew up, it's all rounded off and rough looking. So it was detonating, getting this section really hot. So it probably got the ring lands hot, and that's what helped them break. So I could see that from the top, that this corner was rounded over a bit. Alright, well that's it. We worked out what was wrong. I was fairly certain when I did the compression test and stuff that this happened. So, but the great thing about it was it didn't break the top ring land. So if it had broken that, it might have taken out a valve, it might have damaged some other stuff, but it broke the lower ring lands, broke a ring, motor kept running. Like I said, this cylinder kept over 2000 RPM roughly. This cylinder started firing and was running and making boost and working. So it's quite surprising really, but head looks good. That's number one, that's the oily one. That'll be fine. Everything else looks great. Bores look decent. There's me light. So bores look good, I'll give them a quick hone. Even number one, it looks bad, but it hasn't got a lip in it. So give them a quick hone. And just got to decide what pistons I'm going to put in it. So I can put a set of replacement cast pistons for like 130 bucks. I can buy a set of ACL cast pistons. Put those in, fresh bearings, fresh gaskets, put it back together, motors back together. And ready for when this one blows up. If it ever blows up, it'll be waiting. So that's one option. Another option is I can put forged pistons in it, which are a fair bit more expensive. A quick look on eBay and stuff, and they're about $1,300 bucks roughly. So it's a big step up from a couple $100 for cast pistons. It's like 1,200, 1,300 pistons for a set of forged pistons. So, and I'd really like, if I was spending that much money on a set of pistons to put in it, I'd really like to go a little bit oversized so that the piston to bore clearance is perfect. And then at the same time, I would like to put a set of rods in it, like H-beams or something, eagle rods. And like once you start going to extremes like that, then like you do the pistons, then you do the rods, then you do this, then you do that, then you do cams, and then all of a sudden you got a crazy fully built engine. And that's not really the idea of this thing. It's meant to be cheap fun. This thing, I just want to jump in it, drive it, thrash it, and be done with it. So I don't know, I don't really want to put forged pistons in it. Like I said, by the time I bore it, put pistons in it, put rods in it, it's going to owe me a fair bit of money. So I think I might just get a set of cast pistons, put them in. Like I said, I'll give the bores a quick hone, set of pistons, set of bearings, put it all back together, make it look pretty, and hopefully the other engine doesn't blow up and I'll never need to use this engine, but it'll be there waiting. So that's it for this episode. I've had enough. I'm going to go inside and have dinner, and maybe I'll come back out and pull the other head off after dinner, but yeah, it's Sunday night. I'll get ready for work tomorrow. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.